Hello everyone, this is Logan59XP, and today we are here to react to, of course, the new State of Play. People have been waiting for a new PlayStation event for quite some time now. Unfortunately, it is not a full-fat PlayStation showcase like everyone was hoping for, but hey, it's something. My expectations for this event, as with a lot of State of Plays, and again, this is not exactly some hot original take or anything, is not exactly high. They're not like bottom barrel like I think a lot of people, because obviously people are like really kind of sour on PlayStation at the moment with Concord and the PS5 Pro price and stuff. So people's expectations are probably the lowest they've ever been for a State of Play in quite some time, I would say. But I think we're gonna get something out of this. The question is what, of course, though. But anyways, hey Antonio, welcome to the stream. How are you? I'm doing fine. I'm doing just fine right now. So, something that's kind of neat, because I don't think, because they're not always like this, but this State of Play is actually in 4K, which is awesome. This stream you are watching right now, or watching after the fact, for the two people that watch these things after the fact, this is actually a 1440p stream, as opposed to my last stream, which was the Smash stream I did a few weeks ago. That was 1080p when I was experimenting with the new multi-streaming plugin that came out recently that lets you stream to YouTube and Twitch with a lot more flexibility, as opposed to something like Restream.io that I used to use years ago. And basically, with that plugin, you can stream to YouTube and Twitch at whatever quality you want that the platforms support. So if I wanted to stream at, say, 4K 60 to YouTube, but then stream the 1080p 60 on Twitch, because Twitch only goes up to 1080p 60, I could do that. The problem is then you have to deal with the latency hit, because YouTube only lets you do normal latency at 4K, which is like 20 to 30 seconds, and that's completely unacceptable for a gaming stream. So for the last stream I just did bog standard 1080 60 to both platforms, but at least they were both equal because they both had the lowest latency setting I could possibly select, which was about 1 to 2 seconds depending on the platform. But because this is not a gaming stream where, having the most up-to-date reaction time in the chat is critical, I've decided to go back to what we've been doing for the last 2 years and just do 1440p low latency, which is low enough latency. It's only a couple seconds higher than the ultra low latency setting on YouTube. Ultra low latency, for those of you that don't know, is like 1 to 2 seconds on YouTube, but the low latency setting is more like 5 to 8 seconds. Which, I mean, I looked on my phone just a few minutes ago, and it said the stream was about 4.5 seconds. That's pretty good for low latency setting on YouTube at 1440p, I'd say. Now, obviously, in an ideal world, I would love to be able to stream at 1440p with ultra low latency and not have any downsides, or even better, 4K ultra low latency, but obviously that's not happening. I mean, the 4K ultra low latency, that's not happening for a long time, probably, just because that's a YouTube side thing, and they don't even have a low latency as an option for 4K. You have to do normal latency. That is your only option. So the only way I would ever stream at 4K on YouTube would probably be for some kind of like special, like if I ever did like my own direct or something like that, then that's something I would do at 4K. But for anything else, 1440p maximum, whether it's at low latency or eventually when they do support it, ultra low latency. But anyways, enough with all that streaming latency talk. So, the State of Play. What do I want to see in the State of Play? I mean, probably the number one thing I'd like to see would be Wolverine, of course. I mean, when that was announced 3 years ago, probably not 3 years ago to the day, but pretty close, because 3 years ago this month we had that PlayStation showcase that revealed both Spider-Man 2, which of course came out last year, and then Wolverine. And of course we had the Insomniac leak late last year, and there was apparently leaked gameplay footage, which I deliberately have not gone out of my way to find. I'm sure if I wanted to see that leaked Wolverine footage, I could. But, it's an early build, and it's probably not representative of the final game, and also I'd rather just wait for the actual reveal, But obviously if I wanted to go find it, I could find it. I just have chosen not to, personally. But yeah, so obviously getting an update on Wolverine would be nice. It's obviously not going to come out until like late 2025 or 2026. But you know, it's been 3 years. I think it's about time we get to see at least something, especially coming off of the huge success that was Deadpool Wolverine, making $1.3 billion at the box office. So they may as well take advantage of that Wolverine hype, you know, while they can. I mean, obviously the movie's been out for a few months now, so the hype has died down. But, you know, still, you know, take advantage of the fact that that movie did so well. And, you know, people's interest in Wolverine's going to be even higher than it would have been even before that. So, yeah, so Wolverine would be the number one thing I'd like to see. Obviously there's been talks of Spider-Man 2 DLC or whatever. That'd be cool too. But yeah, aside from those two things, there's not really much else that I personally want to see that I think has a chance of being here. I mean, of course, if we're talking about pure fantasy, if we're talking the realm of pure fantasy, like stuff that is definitely not going to be here whatsoever, Persona 6 would be like my number one. Like, if you were to ask me, in an ideal world, what game would you want to be revealed at this thing that has no chance of showing up? I'd say Persona 6. But Metaphor ReFantazio is coming out soon. All the marketing is on that right now. We just had the Answer DLC come out for Reload. I don't think Atlus is going to announce anything new, especially not something as big as Persona 6, which would obviously be their big flagship title for, you know, 2025, 2026, whatever. That's not going to get announced until next year. Probably at the Xbox event, because the last couple of announcements were at Xbox events, funny enough, which kind of flies in the face of the traditional, you know, PlayStation association they've had. But of course, now Persona is no longer a Sony exclusive. I mean, it was never truly a Sony exclusive. Obviously, we had the Q games on the 3DS, but, you know, Persona is a multi-plat now. This is multi-plat. Metaphor's coming out on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. I think it's coming out on PC. Of course, Persona 3 Reload and the Persona, you know, 3, 4, 5 ports and Persona 5 Tactica, those have all been multi-plat. So Persona 6, when it does get revealed, it's going to have the PS5 logo, the Series X logo, and the PC logo. And if the Switch 2 is revealed at that point, which it most likely would be, then maybe we'll see a Switch 2 logo as well. Especially with how big the Switch obviously is in Japan. How big the Switch is in Japan, but... anyways, so yeah, it's about to start here in a minute. But yeah, long story short, Wolverine would be probably the number one thing I'd like to see that has a chance of showing up. Or Spider-Man 2 DLC, I guess, even though I'm not dying for Spider-Man 2 DLC. But to be fair, I also, like, just finally got around to playing through that game all the way, like, about a month ago. So I'm not exactly in a rush to go back to it, but... you know, obviously DLC would be cool. But yeah, Wolverine for, like, an actual has a chance of showing up type thing. And then Persona 6 as a never-gonna-happen type thing. As for what might be here, there's rumors of, you know, Horizon Zero Dawn Remaster and Days Gone Remaster and all kinds of other stuff. We'll probably see an update. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something for Astro Bot, because, of course, that came out recently, and that did really well. That's a game I definitely am going to be playing at some point, because Astro's Playroom was a fun pack-in title, I think, and Astro Bot has received nothing but glowing reviews. I'm definitely going to want to play that at some point, but... anyways, let's go ahead and get started. Also, I just realized the desktop audio isn't turned on. I mean, but there we go. So now you should be able to hear whatever the stream says. That isn't me, like the actual video. You know what I'm talking about. Alrighty, starting off with a first-party title. And we're starting off with Astro Bot stuff. Makes sense. Like I said, you know, just came out. It's been very successful. Critically acclaimed across the board, as you'd expect. Ooh, Helldivers. Helldivers stuff? So obviously I haven't played Astro Bot yet, even though, again, like I said, I have every intention of playing it. But I do know that they actually have, just like Astro's Playroom, there's a bunch of, like, references to, like, other games, particularly games that have, like, history with PlayStation or PlayStation IPs. And there actually is Aegis, Teddy, and Joker references in the game, which is cool. It's kind of weird that they did Joker and not Morgana, considering that they did the other two mascot characters. But then again, Joker is so much more iconic than Morgana because he's in, like, Smash and stuff. So I get why they'd want to do Joker, but I don't know, it's just kind of weird that they had, like, some of them, but not all of them. Oh, that's a Stellar Blade. So they got Stellar Blade and Helldivers. So yeah, there's gonna be a free update coming. It's gonna add some new stuff. That's cool.
I'm Nicholas Ducey, the studio head at Team Asobi. We couldn't be happier with the reception to Astrobot and to see how much.
Wait, hold on. I thought Team Asobi was like the remnants of Japan's studio. So shouldn't this be a Japanese guy that's running the studio? I guess not, because isn't Team Asobi in Japan?
At no additional cost. We'll have more to share soon. But for now, let's enjoy the state of play.
Well, then again, we had James Turner at Game Freak, who designed a handful of Pokemon, among other things, and he wasn't Japanese. So, in terms of what we're gonna see, I'm expecting this to be like mostly third-party, but I think we're gonna get at least one new first-party announcement. There's just no way we're not gonna get at least one. But while we're waiting, I guess I may as well answer some questions here. So let's see, from Antonio here in the chat, what are your thoughts on the Thunderbolts trailer and Null the Symbiote God being in Venom 3? So, yeah, the Thunderbolts trailer came out, I think, yesterday or the day before. I did watch it, and my interest in it is higher than I thought it would be. I mean, obviously I'm going to see it, because I have to, but that movie I feel like has potential. That movie has some potential. I definitely think it has potential. I don't think it's going to be, you know, some super hidden gem or anything, but I think that movie genuinely has potential compared to some of the other movies we've had in recent years. Obviously, one of the big things it has going for it is, of course, they had a couple of shots of, you know, Bucky, you know, doing his Winter Soldier stuff, and everyone loves Bucky and Winter Soldier, right? And they better have his music. You know, that little, like, ambiance. It's not even really music proper, but you know what I'm talking about. You know, that little track they played in, like, Winter Soldier and Civil War anytime he'd show up. They better play that at least, like, once. But
I remember how I felt.
But yeah, I don't know, the trailer actually looked pretty alright. I think that definitely has some potential.
Took him away.
I normally don't watch trailers unless it's for, like, a movie I, like, really have interest in, but I figured I'll watch it. I'm actually surprised at how long the trailer was. The trailer was, like, 3 minutes. They call it a teaser. It is not a teaser. It's a trailer if it's 3 minutes long. But yeah, nothing, like, crazy or anything by any means, but, like, I think it has potential. It'll probably be fun. One thing that we did see in the trailer that, of course, a lot of people have been, you know, curious about is the fact that we finally potentially know what's happening with Avengers Tower, because people have been speculating about Avengers Tower for what feels like forever. I mean, I remember, like, as early as, like, 2018, people were speculating, who's buying Avengers Tower? Who's buying Avengers Tower? Because, of course, in Homecoming, you know, they leave the tower, right? And ever since then, people have been asking, who's buying Avengers Tower? Who's buying Avengers Tower? We've been wondering for years and years and years, and it looks like we finally have the answer. It's going to be the Thunderbolts Tower, or whatever they're going to call it. Like, at least that's what it looks like. It's in the trailer. I remember for the longest time, people thought it was going to be the Baxter Building. Obviously, that's not happening now, and the Baxter Building is going to be, you know, somewhere else in New York that we haven't seen yet. But, yeah, so we know what's happening with Avengers Tower, finally, so that's kind of cool. But, yeah, so I guess that's all I really got to say as far as the Thunderbolts trailer is concerned. As for Null, apparently Null is, like, a big deal. I don't know much about Null, but I definitely know, but I have heard that he's apparently, like, a big deal. He's a big deal when it comes to, like, Venom stuff in the comics. He's also, like, one of the newer characters. Like, I think he was created in, like, the 2010s, from what I remember hearing. Could be wrong about that. But apparently he's a big deal. Yeah, he's the god of the symbiote. He's a big deal. That's the main thing that I know about him. I don't know much about him outside of that. Other than that, yeah, he's the god of the symbiotes. And he's apparently a big, big deal. And they teased him in the trailer And people are wondering what's going to happen with that. There's also been rumors about, like, Noel getting transported to, like, the MCU, then being a part of, you know, Tom Holland when he goes through, like, the black suit arc, because obviously they've set up that happening, because, of course, at the end of No Way Home, they had, you know, because... You want to know something that I don't understand why they did this, unless they're going to do something with it that we haven't seen yet. But, you know how, obviously, you know, at the end of Venom 2, right? You know... Eddie and Venom get transported to the MCU. And then in No Way Home, they get transported back to the Sony universe, but they leave behind that little piece of the symbiote in the MCU. And supposedly, Noel is going to get transported to the MCU, maybe at the end of this new movie or something. I don't know. It's just been rumors and stuff, but I am curious though to see what happens with, you know, with Noel, and if that does tie into what's going to happen in, you know, the MCU with Tom Holland and the black suit or whatever. Like, we don't know, obviously, but yeah. I will say this: it really does feel like what are they gonna end Venom 3 on? Like, surely it's gonna be some MCU tie-in like they did last time. Even though they don't have a direct tie-in to another MCU movie like last time, because of course, Let There Be Carnage, the last Venom movie, right? That came out like only like 2 months before No Way Home, so they had a very clear, direct line of sight towards like what the tie-in would be. But there is no Spider-Man movie this year, so they don't have to do a direct tie-in to anything if they don't want to. But they probably will. Whether that's going to involve Noel, or if they're gonna, or maybe they'll transport, you know, Eddie back to the MCU and he'll actually stay there for like a real amount of time. Like, maybe they'll transport him there so he can show up in Secret Wars, and then they'll transport him back to the Sony universe. Who knows? Who knows? That's a whole other thing that I really am not equipped to really speculate about too much anyway. Ooh, I wasn't expecting this to be here. I mean, I know that a PS5 version was, I think, announced or teased a little while ago, but I didn't think they were actually going to show it. Well, that's cool. Hopefully this version actually materializes, with obviously the recent news that came out. I haven't played this game in a little bit. I played this game like a ton, like for like a couple of weeks. And then I kind of was like off and on with it. But then I haven't really played it in like a few months, really. Even though I know there was like a big update that came out like a little while ago, and I just haven't gone around to really playing it. They added like a new island and stuff. Today, huh? I didn't think they'd have it out that fast. Well, that's cool. That's pretty neat. Hopefully it sticks around and doesn't get casted off into oblivion because of the lawsuit. Okay, again, a collection of, I think they said a PS1 game? Or some like old PS1 games? I don't really know what this franchise is. You know, speaking of that lawsuit, one thing that I don't think anyone's really talked about when it comes to the lawsuit is, how is Sony going to be involved? Because technically speaking, those of you that don't remember, a few months ago, Pocket Pair actually made made a deal with Sony to form like a subsidiary called, like, I think Pal World Entertainment, kind of like how there's the Pokemon Company, funny enough. And so that means, in theory, that Sony might actually be involved with that lawsuit. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. So apparently there's a new update for this. I'm kind of surprised they're even bothering. I mean, I know they did at least one DLC already, but like, this game's been out for 2 years. I'm kind of surprised they're doing another one, but sure, why not? For a split second, I thought this was gonna be Persona 5, the Phantom X. Nope. But it's a different Sega-owned IP. I assume this is the Sonic.
Yes, you heard right. Keanu Reeves is joining Sonic X Shadow Generations as part of the upcoming Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie pack. This update is
I was gonna say, this is obviously like the Sonic X Shadow Generations thing, but like the design looked a little more like the movie. So yeah, they're apparently gonna do some tie-in movie pack for the new movie.
You play the game 3 days ahead of its October 25th release.
It's neat, I guess. And they're gonna have Keanu Reeves and everything. Yeah, you can see the texture on him is like the movie design. But yeah, that lawsuit's definitely strange. Hey, look who he is! It's the big guy himself. Hironobu Sakaguchi, the legend himself, returns. Yeah, for the new Fantasian port that's coming out, which is actually being published by Square Enix. Funny enough. But yeah, that lawsuit. I mean. Yeah, I'm very curious to see what happens with that. I'm hoping that Power World doesn't get, like, shut down or anything by it. That would be unfortunate. But we'll just have to wait and see.
The release of Dragon Age: The Veilguard. Let's check in with BioWare and Electronic Arts for an extended look at a climactic battle.
Speaking of Persona 5, the Phantom X, which is like the Chinese, which is like that Chinese game that came out like a few years ago. No, not a few years ago. It came out last year, but it was teased a few years ago under the codename X banner with that really wide trailer for some reason. That game is supposedly going to be announced for like an international release, maybe at like Tokyo Game Show or something. I think it's already confirmed for a Japanese release, but I'm not entirely sure. Is the stream skipping? Or is that just the game? No, I'm not dropping any frames. So that frame stutter you're seeing, that's not me. That's just the trailer. That's not even like the state of play feed. I think that's just like the trailer that BioWare gave Sony just has that skipping in it. Frame pacing issues or something. Do you think we'll get the complete Kang story arc if stuff gets worked out, maybe for Young Avengers project since he was in Young Avengers comics, or they'll just leave him up wasted? Yeah, so obviously there's been a lot of talk about like what's going to happen with Kang, because obviously that Kang was supposed to be the big bad. He was supposed to be the Thanos of the multiverse saga. They started it with Loki in 2021 with He Who Remains. People, generally speaking, liked it. And then we had Quantumania, and people didn't like that at all. And then of course we had the Jonathan Majors thing, the whole Jonathan Majors thing happened. He got, he was ruled guilty, and then Marvel fired him, and now they've completely scrapped everything, and now they're doing, Doomsday, and they got RDJ back, and that whole thing, right? But they can't just ignore Kang. Sure, he hasn't been built up, like, super big or anything, but, like, they've built him up enough that I feel like it'd be weird to just, like, pretend he doesn't exist. Like, they can't go into Doomsday and just pretend that Kang didn't happen, so they have to acknowledge it in some way, but the question is, how are they going to acknowledge it? Because, I mean, they had that scene in Quantumania with all the Kangs in the stadium. You can't just pretend that didn't happen. I mean, I don't think they're going to put any more effort into that storyline if that's what you're talking about. They can't completely just pretend it didn't happen, but they also are not going to, like, continue it, obviously. If they were going to continue it, they would have recast Jonathan Majors. But they didn't recast Jonathan Majors. They just scrapped Kang Dynasty and changed it to Doomsday instead. So they're not doing, at least for right now, like, I'm sure they'll come back to Kang, like, way down the line when, like, all this stuff is long in the past, and they'll probably get a new actor, and they'll try it again from the ground up. But the current Kang storyline that we've been building up to from Loki onward, I think that's going to be, like, more or less hand waved away in some way. Like, they're gonna acknowledge it. Like in Doomsday, like when Doomsday comes out, there's going to be a scene where they acknowledge it, but they're gonna kind of breeze past it as quickly as they possibly can, while still acknowledging that it happened, because they can't not acknowledge it. That's my guess. And again, that's by no means an original thought at all. That's pretty much what most people are saying, but like, I don't really have anything to add to that. I just kind of feel like that, yeah, that makes sense. They have to acknowledge it. They can't not acknowledge it. But they're not going to add to it in any significant way. They're just going to kind of be like, yeah, let's go ahead and just deal with this Kang thing really quickly, because we did set it up, and then we're going to just move on to Doom, and just, that'll be that. And then like 10, 20, 30 years from now, they'll try Kang again with a new actor and with a completely from the ground up storyline, and we'll just pretend that the old Kang thing didn't even happen. Okay, is this gonna be is this an Alan Wake 2 DLC? Or no, Control 2. This might be Control 2. But this looks like Alan Wake though. This looks like an Alan Wake DLC. Or is this Control 2? I don't know. It's either Alan Wake or Control 2. And this isn't the Max Payne remake, because they mentioned Epic Games as a publisher. The Max Payne remake would be published by... it's being made by Remedy, but it'd be published by Rockstar. I guess, yeah, it is an Alan Wake 2 DLC. Okay. PSVR 2 from IO Interactive. I have to say though, the resolution of this game is not great. Like, it looks like fairly low. I mean, I don't know what the average resolution of a PSVR 2 game is, because obviously they have different kind of demands from regular PS5 games, but resolution's not great, I can say that much. And I'm watching this on a 4K stream, so like, I can see like all of the quality, and I can tell you the resolution's not great for this particular title. But it is PSVR 2, so it's a little different. Yeah, it's set to 4K. They put a they put a headset on him. Speaking of IO Interactive, when are we gonna see that James Bond game? That was teased like a few years ago. We still haven't seen it.
I stood with Cain and my brethren until I had the honor of surpassing my lord. For my transgression, I earned a new kind of reward. Agony.
I was gonna say, this is a remaster of some kind, of like a PS2 era game, clearly. But I don't know what game this is, but this is obviously like a remaster of like a Gen 6 game. Updated textures, new lighting, looks nice, but again, I don't know what game this is. Looks really sharp though, probably because it's using MSAA. Not, you know, TAA, because, you know, it's an older title, so they can just do MSAA.
Don't fight it, Raziel.
Legacy of Kain. Yeah, it is Crystal Dynamics. Isn't that a franchise people wanted to see get a remaster? I feel like I've heard people talk about that.
You sure we can't just do the same?
Games from the original PlayStation era also inspired Fear the Spotlight from Blumhouse Games. It brings atmospheric polygonal scares to PS5 and PS4 on October 22nd.
Just go home, Viv. I'm happy here.
They should also not ignore the Eternal scene where they were taken by the Celestials. Also, they should still do Blade and Armor Wars, because it's rumored Marvel might change their plans about them. Yeah, like, Blade and Armor Wars, like... I'm sure that they're gonna both come out at some point, but, like, who knows when and how it's gonna materialize. I mean... Mahershala Ali has been waiting for 5 years for this movie to actually materialize into something, and it's been in development hell. There's been tons of script rewrites. There's been tons of back and forth about what the story is supposed to be. There was a rumor that apparently it was going to focus on his daughter, which nobody liked, and then apparently that's been changed, and it's like, who even knows?
Mode to Lego Fortnite this October.
Some Fortnite update?
This feature enables friends and family to explore the world and build.
That's
businesses
cool,
together
split
while
screen.
playing on the same
That's a rarity nowadays, to have split screen.
PS5.
That's
And another
neat.
Fortnite news. The new Fortnite limited
I think that's only for the Lego mode, though. It'd be cool if that was also in, like, actual Fortnite, like the Battle Royale. That'd be kind of neat.
Visit PlayStation blog for more details. Next, it's 1 versus 1,000 in Dynasty Warriors only.
Oh yeah, wasn't this announced earlier this year?
Ready to share the release date. Let's
Forget what event it was at. Was that the Xbox event? I don't know. I think this. I do remember this being announced, like earlier this year.
Paths with men who may one day bring about order. Until
LA Tecmo, obviously.
adapt to the chaos and find a way to survive. So choose your path wisely. Go forth and learn what it means to be a hero.
You know, the one thing about Blade that really is funny is the fact that, like, we got Wesley Snipes back before we've seen Mahershala Ali on screen. That's kind of insane. If you had told people in 2019, when they first announced Blade with Mahershala Ali, that we're gonna get Wesley Snipes back before you ever see a frame of Mahershala Ali on screen, they'd probably be like, no way. And yet, that's the timeline that we're in, apparently. And now there's talks of, like, you know, bring back Wesley Snipes to do a 4th movie, have like a send-off movie, kind of like how we, you know, kind of like what Deadpool, Wolverine, or what Logan was, you know, for those characters, you know. You do like a send-off movie. I mean, obviously people would be cool with that, but, like, I don't think that's gonna happen. I think we're gonna see him again, though. I think we're gonna see all those characters again. Again, this is by no means in a, like, a super original idea by any means, but I'm absolutely believe we're gonna see, at the very least, we're gonna get Channing Tatum and we're gonna get Wesley Snipes in Secret Wars, which again is by no means some hot original thought or anything, but, like, yeah.
Carved into my mind.
Oh, so this is Monster Hunter Wilds. I forgot, how long is this presentation supposed to be?
What's your team been getting up to?
Is it 40 minutes? I think these tend to be 40 minutes.
to some of the other units.
This might just be me, but honestly, this is one of the better state of plays, I feel. I feel like there's been a good amount of variety and a good amount of, like, games that have shown up that people have, like, been wanting to see. I mean, we still haven't had a big new first-party title, but, I mean, this is actually a decent state of play, like, genuinely. I feel like a lot of times for people, state of plays, they just kind of, like, exist and we don't really get much, but, like, there's actually some stuff in here that, like, people, you know, have wanted to see, you know? Again, we still haven't seen a big first-party title yet. Hopefully we'll get that at the end. Hopefully that'll be, like, the big closer, but... This is actually a decent state of play. It's not amazing, but, like, it's decent. Like, genuinely. I heard a new deal might be happening for Sony and Disney for Spider-Man. I mean, the current deal they have right now. So, of course, there's the original, like, 2015 deal. That was for Civil War, Homecoming, Infinity War, Endgame, and Far From Home. Then in 2019, we had that entire fiasco, right, between Sony and Disney and the back and forth over the, you know, the splitting of the box office and all that stuff and whatever, right? And then when it was all said and done, they made a new deal that was for 2 movies. they made a deal for one more Spider-Man, which would have been No Way Home, and then one more like MCU appearance. So like, you know, in like a Secret Wars or whatever, right? But we already know there's going to be a fourth movie. Like, obviously there's going to be a fourth movie. Like, of course there's going to be a fourth and a fifth and a sixth movie, but like that hasn't been like officially put on the docket yet. It's just blatantly obvious. And also they've talked about, I think Kevin Feige, like, I think not too long ago was mentioning like, oh yeah, by the way, we have the script. We have a new draft of the script coming in soon or something for Spider-Man 4. So obviously it's being worked on. It's just not like they just haven't like officially given us like a logo or anything, or even like just like a template release date. But then again, that wouldn't be something that Marvel would announce. That'd be something that Sony announces, because of course, even though Marvel makes the MCU films for the most part, Sony still has the final say on everything they do in those movies, and also they're the ones that, of course, own the rights to the movies and do the marketing. Like, you know, they're Sony, they're Marvel movies, but they're owned by Sony, you know? So they're the ones that would announce it, which is why you never see them talk about it like Comic-Con or D23. I just realized I have this turned on. Wait, what? Wait, is it just built into the stream? Because I can't turn off the subtitles. Or is that different? No annotations. Okay, so Capcom's doing a stream for TGS. See, I can't turn off the subtitles. I think they're just built into the stream feed itself. Okay, PlayStation Studios. Oh, okay, the Lego Horizons game. I bet they're gonna announce the Horizon Remaster right after this, because recently the Horizon Remaster got on the ESRB. And it's kind of like the Korean ratings board, where like once you get on one of those ratings boards, the game is like official. Like, it just is. Every time a game has shown up on particularly the Korean ratings board, it always gets announced. Always. Guaranteed. So they're probably gonna announce the remaster right after this. Bunch of PlayStation skins. It's still kind of weird that this game is coming to the Switch. It still feels weird to me that it's actually a thing. Of course, they coming to PS5 and PC, but also the Switch, but we're not going to tell you that in a PlayStation event. I mean, obviously, but still. Okay, on the horizon, they literally walked right into that one. On the horizon. So yeah, here's the remaster that nobody asked for, but we're getting anyway.
Being remastered for PS5 and PC by Guerrilla and Nixes. Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered.
Here's a Nixie's port, at least.
10 hours of re-recorded conversation mocap and countless graphical improvements that bring the game to the same visual fidelity as Horizon Forbidden West. This new version of Horizon Zero Dawn will arrive October 31st, and anyone who owns the original PS4 version of the game will be able to upgrade to the new PS5 version for $9.99.
Okay, well that's good. You can upgrade to it for only $10. So it's not a complete rebuy. Because I actually do have the original game. They gave it away for free years ago. I still haven't played it, but if I ever get around to playing it, I'll probably just pay the $10 fee to have the better version. Stellar Blade update.
And Stellar Blade's original soundtrack, featuring over 180 songs from the game, is available on select streaming services starting today. But that's wants to know it all.
Getting a deal. Ooh, the crossover people were asking for.
In the Stellar Blade and Nier Automata collaboration, coming to
People have been asking for this ever since the game came out, and they're actually doing it. That's cool. That's cool.
Now let's talk about what's ahead for PlayStation Plus.
For PlayStation Plus. Okay, I was gonna say, like, I'm gonna see, like, a new game announcement now?
Dead Space.
Not yet.
Doki Doki Literature Club Plus. These will be
Dead
available
Space,
to all
Doki Doki
PC
Literature
customers
Club.
Starting October 1st. Meanwhile, our library of PlayStation Classics continues to grow, with 2 more fan favorites from the
Do
original.
you want to see
PlayStation
what Jim
Leading
Carrey, Kill My
Blood
2,
Omen
Direct
and
Sequel of The
Super
Mask?
Capcom's Dino Crisis.
I've never seen The Mask, so I don't really have an opinion on whether or not I'd want a sequel.
We're celebrating by
I don't know.
critically acclaimed PS5 hit.
Feels like it's a bit late to do a sequel to that, but then again, we did get Beetlejuice, so who knows? I don't know. I guess neutral. I don't know. I've never seen The Mask, so I don't really got anything to say about it. Okay, what's this? Oh, hold on. This is a PlayStation thing. Oh, yeah, new controller color. Yeah, new controller colors. Neat, I guess. I don't think they've done new colors in a while. Like they've done like, you know, special controller variants for games, but they haven't done like a new color scheme, I think, in a few years. Because, you know, a few years ago, you know, they put out like, you know, those different like shell and color options for the controllers, but they haven't really done any new ones since then that aren't like game specifics. This is kind of cool, I guess. I wonder if those console covers are going to be available for the old PS5, not in, Hey, there's Mark Cerny.
We recently revealed the newest addition to the PlayStation 5 family, PS5 Pro, alongside several
With its glorious $700 price tag with no disc drive.
that the new console makes possible.
Everyone's talked about that to death.
Developers have access to 3 key improvements: an upgraded GPU, advanced ray tracing, and
It really is such a shame that it's that, because like, I want a PS5 Pro, but like I'm not, but like $700 without the disc drive is a steep sell.
But in the meantime, here's a look at some of the games that are being enhanced for the new console, including a few titles.
Because I have a PS5 with a disc drive, so obviously I want a disc drive, and I have disc games. Like I have FF7 on disc, I have Spider-Man on disc. I intend to buy more games in the future on disc. So yeah, all the big, you know, PS5 games are gonna get enhancements. No shocker there. Rome, what? I wonder if they're going to go back and enhance the first 2 Spider-Mans. Okay. There's got to be something new, surely, right? Ghost of Tsushima 2. Just immediately, the second I see a black and white filter on a field, it's like, Ghost of Tsushima 2. That's 100% what this is. This has been anticipated for a while. Yeah, this is, I mean, come on. This is Ghost of Tsushima 2. 100%.
To disappear. But you are hunting.
But yeah, I mean, maybe I'll get a PS5 Pro down the line when we get closer to like GTA 6 coming out. But yeah, I'll be skipping it like everyone else for the time being, just because of the price tag with the disc drive. I mean, $700 is already a lot, even if it had the disc drive, but without it, meaning it's basically $800 because I'd have to buy the disc drive add-on. Yeah, that's not happening anytime soon. Maybe down the line, but I'll have to stick with the current PS5 for the time being. Plus, you know, the Switch 2 is obviously a higher priority for me anyway, but it's still like a Pro at some point. Yeah, there's Sucker Punch. By the way, do you have a PS5 yet? Or are you still on the PS4? No, they're still expensive? The base PS5 is not really that expensive if you go on eBay. I've seen them go for like $350, $400. I guess it depends on your definition of expensive. I mean, lucky for you, you haven't really had to move to the PS5 for the most part, because there's been so much cross-gen stuff. But obviously at some point you're going to have to move. Ooh, they're giving it a new name. Obviously because the last game took place on Tsushima, which is like an actual island, obviously. So now it's a different island, so they're calling it by that instead. And it's coming out 2025. Alrighty then. Yeah, I'm very surprised with Palworld today. I mean, that's cool, but like, I didn't think it would happen like that fast. Alrighty then. I think that was a decent presentation, all things considered. Wasn't amazing, but like... But honestly, that wasn't all things considered, that was actually a decent event. Would have been cool if we gotten to see Wolverine, but we did get Ghost of Tsushima 2. We got to see some other neat announcements in there. Palworld is out today on PS5. That's cool. Again, we'll see if that sticks. I don't think that the game is going to get shut down. They're probably just going to do some, like, payout, and then maybe they'll change, like, one or two small things. I don't know. It really, we don't know. Obviously, we'll have to see, because apparently it's a patent thing, and... But then, I don't know. Who knows? Oh, no. No, we're not watching a South Park reaction on this stream. That'd be like a reaction to a reaction. Anyway. I don't know, I think all things considered, that actually wasn't that bad. Obviously, you know, chat is obviously gonna complain, as you'd expect. But honestly, all things considered, that wasn't actually that bad. Well, I've seen much worse much worse state of plays. Still wouldn't call it amazing, but like, I've seen worse. I've seen most of the state of plays that have come out over the last few years, and I'd say about 75% of them are just kind of like, they just kind of exist. This one was actually a decent presentation. Again, not amazing, but I don't know. That's just me, though. Obviously, the chat here very much has a different opinion on that, but anyway. Obviously, oh yeah, no Concord mention, but I mean, obviously there's no Concord mention for obvious reasons. So yeah, that was the state of play, I guess. Again, I don't know, thought it was alright, I guess. Again, by no means amazing. Would have been nice if we had some more bigger announcements, but I've seen worse. That would, for state of play standards, I think this was a decent presentation, but that's just me. And obviously, maybe I'll change my tune on that. I mean, I've said in the past, oh yeah, I thought this was actually alright, and then like a few days later, I'll think to myself, was it really though? So who knows? Actually, there was some talk of like Resident Evil 9 being here. That wasn't here. I'm not really a Resident Evil guy. I haven't really played any of the games myself, but then again, is it too soon for a new Resident Evil? Because Resident Evil 8, aka Village, that came out in 2021, and then we had the remake. Or then we had Resident Evil 4 that came out last year. That's probably a different team. I don't know. I guess announcing it really isn't out of the question. Because obviously it wouldn't be coming out until like 2020, 2025, 2026. You gonna see Sonic 3? Probably not. I don't know. I saw the first one when it came out. Never got around to seeing the second one, even though I think we were going to. It just didn't happen. And then Sonic 3. And when I say we, I mean like my family, not with you. Just to make that clear. Sonic 3, I don't know. Maybe if my brother wants to see it, maybe we'll go see it. I don't know. I personally have no plans to see it, but we'll see what happens with that. Again, I didn't even see the second one, so I'm kind of out of the loop on that anyway. I'm planning on getting new games because they're still making games for PS4, but I know they're gonna be retiring soon. Yeah, I mean, I know people have been memeing on like how like the generation still hasn't really started and all that stuff, but like they have to abandon the PS4 at some point. They can't hold on to it forever. I mean, in terms of first-party stuff, they're basically done. They're not doing any more cross-gen stuff with Sony first-party, right? That's done. But third-party, but you know, your Fortnites, your Call of Duties, those will probably continue. Your Just Dances, well, it's not called FIFA anymore. It's now like EA Sports FC because they lost the license. That stuff will probably continue for the foreseeable future, but we'll have to wait and see. So yeah, I guess that's basically it. Again, I know I've already said it like 5 times. I don't know. Thought it was an okay event, I guess. So, what? I need to mute my phone. I'm not sure if you guys are hearing that notification sound. Getting a bunch of political stuff in my text because, well, it's that season, so I get flooded with, well, you vote for our side because the other side is terrible or whatever. Like, I've gotten a bunch of those. Because, of course, you do. That's, you know, it's election season. And I need to, like, find out how to unsubscribe from those. Because obviously there must be a way to unsubscribe from all those, like, political, like, you know, hey, Logan, I'm such and such governor or mayor or whatever. We need to stop the evil insert name here. So, like I don't want to see that stuff. I get flooded with it because it's election season. I choose to not get involved in all that stuff. I'm not Team Red or Team Blue. I'm Team I don't give a dang. My world is tech and video games, and that's what I'm sticking to. I'm not getting involved in any of that political nonsense. But unfortunately, I get flooded with text for it anyway. I need to figure out how to unsubscribe from those, but that's a whole other thing. That has nothing to do with any of this. So anyways, that's all I really got to say. Thank you, Antonio, for being here. It's nice to see you. Pop in, because I don't think you've been here for any of the recent streams. Not that I've been streaming too much, but it's nice to see you in the stream. Nice talking with you. As for what's going to be happening next, on the channel? Well, the next stream I do is probably going to be a Smash 3DS stream for the US anniversary. We already had the Japanese anniversary earlier this month, but the US anniversary, which is the one that I care about, because obviously that's when me and all of you guys got to play the game for the first time, was October 3rd, 2014. So on October 3rd, 2024, I'm going to be doing a Smash 3DS stream of sorts. We're just going to play some Smash 3DS, Smash Run, do whatever. Maybe we'll do some matches, in Citra/Lime 3DS with NetPlay. I don't know. We'll see if anyone wants to do that. But I'm going to do some kind of Smash 3DS thing for sure. But outside of that, it's really just waiting for the Switch 2. Like everyone else, it's just waiting for the Switch 2, waiting for the Switch 2, waiting for the Switch 2, because it surely needs to be somewhat soon. I mean, we had that leak that obviously nothing's official, but by all accounts, at least the images, like the actual image of like the motherboard and the Joy-Cons, those by all accounts are real. Now the CAD, like the 3D render, that maybe has a little ambiguity, and there's been a lot of back and forth whether or not it's real or not, but like, I don't know. But like, surely we're in the final stages here. I mean, I've been of the opinion for quite some time now that they're just going to repeat the previous they're gonna repeat the previous timeline they did for the original Switch. So that means we're gonna have a reveal in October, the big event that has all the games for the next like year in like January, and then it gets released in like March, April, around that time. It might not be March. There's been talks of it maybe being April or May, but point is, I'm expecting him to more or less follow the original Switch's kind of release timing, because I don't see why they wouldn't. It worked well last time. Why wouldn't it work well this time? But obviously, they have a whole lineup for the holiday season. They have the new Zelda that's coming out soon. They have a Mario Party. They have Mario and Luigi. This isn't like the Wii U in 2016 where it was on its deathbed and they desperately needed to announce something to keep people's interest. They, as much as we don't want this to be the case, they really don't have to announce the Switch 2 this year if they don't want to. If they want to make us wait till January or February, they can, and they would be totally fine in doing so, because they have a whole holiday lineup of games that people care about. People want to play a new 2D Zelda, people want to play a new Mario and Luigi. Mario Party kind of is just there, but those other two games are still kind of big deals. They're not, Tears of the Kingdom or Smash big deals, but those are still games people want to play. The Switch is still very much alive. As much as we want them to move on from the system, it's still alive and kicking, so they don't have to announce it this year, even though we want them to. And I still think they're going to, especially if the console is coming out in early 2025, but yeah, so Smash 3DS stream in early October, and then outside of that, it's really just waiting for the Switch 2. But I need to make a Switch 2 video. I'm so overdue for a Switch 2 video of some kind, but it's just so easy to put off, and what can I talk about that hasn't already been talked about 5,000 times before? I'll find a way. But at this point, I'm very much debating whether or not I should do a video before or if I should do a video after, because when the Switch was revealed back in 2016, I didn't do a predictions video before it really, although I did do a one-off video about NX rumors way back in the day. But I did do a long discussion with Ender, who I haven't talked to on a regular basis in a long, long time, but he used to be an old friend from the Yokai Watch days. He was on a couple of the Nincasts back then. He did a two-parter discussion about the Switch after it was announced. I'm thinking I might do something like that, but with Ethan this time around. Maybe at this point, there's nothing we can really add to the conversation for the preamble, but maybe once it gets revealed, then we can talk about it more. Plus, we can get more into the launch lineup and the first year lineup and stuff like that, So, again, we'll see, but yeah, so that's pretty much the plans. Just a Smash stream in early October for 3DS. Is 10-year anniversary, and then obviously whenever the Switch 2 happens, obviously we're doing a thing for that. And that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching after the fact, for the two people that are watching this after the fact. And with that being said, this is Logan59XP, and I will see you guys next time.